Okay, welcome to the first ever Trek Sumo video review. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. Obviously, James and I write the reviews on the blog, but there seems like a really good opportunity to start doing video reviews and talk a bit more about some of the products that we use, show you things, and hopefully in the future you'll be able to see us using some of the products out on expeditions or treks and get more of a sense of how they work, what they look like, and what they like to use. I'm going to start with something really simple today, mainly because this is the first time I've ever done a video review, and we're still figuring out the style, how it's going to work. As you can see, I'm kind of rambling. So what I'm going to start off with is, as I say, something that should be really quick and simple and easy to review, which is the Rab Skyline running cap. It's something I just bought myself about a week ago. And I bought it as a replacement for an ASICS running cap that I've been using for quite a while. In fact, I got it at the Paris Marathon. It's Paris Marathon branded, but it's made by ASICS. It does a really good job. It's just quite battered now, and I wanted something new to start running with. As you can imagine, it's quite important for me to wear some headgear when I'm running because I get burnt really quickly. And when the weather's like this, the last thing you want is to be overheating, getting burnt, and so on. Aside from that, though, for anyone really, when the weather's hot or sunny, you're going to benefit from a running cap or some kind of headgear. It evaporates sweat more quickly, which cools you down, keeps the sun out of your eyes, of course, which helps reduce tiredness, even if you're running in sunglasses. So all good things. The main reason I bought the Rab cap was simply because I like Rab gear, so it made sense to me to look at the website and see what they had on offer. This is their only real running cap, and it's called the Skyline Cap. It's part of their Skyline range, which is essentially all of their running gear. They bill it as trail running gear, but it is essentially all of their running gear, and it obviously can be used for road running as well. I've got a couple of other pieces, the Phantom Waterproof, which I reviewed a couple of weeks ago and which I will do a video review for at some point. Absolutely top-notch piece of kit, I love it. I've also got a kind of cold weather top that I use in the winter when it's particularly icy. Again, a really good bit of kit. So I was kind of optimistic that this would be decent. To be honest, my first impressions actually not that great. Really, that just comes down to, I think there are two elements to it. I'll start with the more objective element, the more subjective element, which was just purely my take on the shape of it. To me, it's a kind of a trucker cap styling in the sense that it's quite high peaked, or rather quite high fronted, quite deep, so there's essentially a lot of volume inside the hat, and then it's got this mesh back, which I'll talk more about. It's certainly a lot higher than the ASICS cap that I used to use, and that's sort of fine. It's just not what I expected from a running cap, and what it means is that when you put it on, and I might wear it for the rest of the review because it's super hot, and as you can tell, I'm getting a little bit sweaty. There's volume in there that, like, even if I pull it right down, it's not sitting against the top of my head, and maybe that's fine. In fact, when I ran with it, what I discovered is that you do get a nice bit of airflow, and having some of that space up there is maybe no bad thing. So yeah, it was just kind of not what I'd expected. The mesh back itself, though, that did give me a little bit more concern because, as I mentioned, the 90% of the reason why I wear a hat when I'm running is so as not to burn. And the way this is photographed on the Rab website, and unintentionally, they're not trying to hide the mesh, it's just that the angle it's at on the model means that the mesh doesn't look nearly as transparent as it is in practice, and in reality it's very, very transparent. Now, it does have an incredibly fine mesh in there. These aren't big holes, so my suspicion is that this probably does offer some UV protection, and I've reached out to Rab to ask them what level of UV protection the back offers. They said they were going to talk to a product manager and get back to me. I've not had a response yet. I'm sure I will get one. They're normally very good at responding on these kinds of questions. When I do get an answer, I'll update the video. But for the time being, I've kind of got to work on the assumption that this is probably going to provide some level of UV protection, but not as much as a full-backed cap. And again, that's not a criticism necessarily. There's loads of mesh caps out there. They're really popular with outdoorsy people because they keep your head cool. They make it easier, obviously, to create ventilation and so on. So it's not a bad thing. But if your one goal is not to burn your head, then this may not be what you're after. Obviously, in terms of features, there's not really a great deal to talk about. It's this kind of grey silvery colour, just got a little Rab logo, and a very small little design feature on the front left of the peak. At the back, you've got the mesh, and then you've got a clip, and it's adjustable. So actually, the cap itself is pretty big, and I had to adjust it quite far down to make it fit tightly, despite having a fairly enormous head. The other thing that they kind of mentioned about it, which is beneficial, is that it's foldable. The cap, so the peak folds, you can squash it down quite well, which would make it pretty easy to shove into a hydration vest or even a running belt, or potentially even the back pocket of your running shorts if you've got a pocket on your shorts, something like that. And that's really good. And it does kind of fold back reasonably nicely into shape again afterwards. I suspect that if you kept it folded and squashed like that for a while, you'd start to get some creasing, but you know, the peak seems to hold up fairly well to being squashed like that. In terms of actually running with it, as I said, I started to see the benefit in the kind of slightly higher crown. You do get a nice little bit of breeze under there. It's quite nice having it not pressed right against your head. Obviously it keeps the sun out of your eyes, appears to keep the sun off. I didn't burn on the couple of occasions that I was running with it, but that's, you know, I definitely wouldn't claim that it has any kind of level of UV protection based on just my experience. But it's certainly comfortable, it fits nicely. It is very light. This is another point that Rab makes, although interestingly I'm pretty sure they've got the weight wrong on their website. They bill it as very lightweight. They say it's 70 grams. 70 grams is not particularly light for a running cap, but it actually weighs 50 grams, which is quite good. It's only about 3 grams lighter than the ASICS cap, so I'm not saying it's going to blow your mind, but yeah, 50 grams is decent. Not sure why it's wrong on the website. I'd imagine it's just a mistake when they've entered the details in there. Aside from that, I don't think there's really a great deal else to say about it. I think if you like the styling, if you like the kind of slightly trucker cap style, if you want the mesh back, which will definitely keep you cool, then this is great. If you're really concerned, as I am, about just not burning, then I'd question this slightly and maybe wait until I get that response from Rab about the UV protection on the mesh back. And if you just like the look of it, then perfect, get it. If you don't, I personally am not blown away by the very sort of simple silver look of it, then maybe look at some other brands. Patagonia have some really nice running caps. The ASICS ones are good, but there's all sorts of ones out there, and I'll post some links under the review of a few other running caps that I like. Really, that's all I've got to say on this one. I'm obviously going to say what everybody says as they vlog, which is if you like the video, please do give it a like. Just hit the like button. It really benefits us in being able to get the videos seen by more people. And of course, if you'd like to view more of these videos as we start to release them, then please do subscribe. Again, it makes a massive difference. We're launching this channel from scratch and trying to build a bit of a viewership. So if you like what you see, then it would really help us out if you could give us a like and give us a subscribe. And otherwise, look out for more videos in the future. And of course, if you haven't already visited the blog and you weren't directed here from there, check out our blog, which is at treksumo.com. And again, I'll put a link in the description.